Well, welcome to the show. This is our view from the bench. Welcome to the show. Happy Monday. I'm Brendan, Assistant Athletic Director for the Chess Club.
And I'm Corey, the ball boy for the bowling team. How was your weekend, man?
Weekend was wet.
We survived the hurricane and then the earthquake. The hurricane came and went.
Yeah.
We're still here.
I didn't even feel... Did you feel the earthquake? I didn't feel the earthquake.
No,
I obviously saw the rain. It's hard to miss that, but I didn't feel the earthquake at all.
No, not at all. I was actually driving when I even found out it was happening. I was driving home and I was listening to the radio and they were talking about whatever. And then all of a sudden they're like, I think we're having an earthquake. And they were like, for at least 10 seconds, they're like, yeah, we're still rolling. Like, it wasn't obviously bad. Nothing fell. Nobody got hurt. But it was just a bizarre day yesterday. But we all survived.
We did. It actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. I don't know if they were just trying to overhype it to kind of prepare everybody or if it was just weaker than I guess what was predicted. But either way, I'm happy that everybody seemed to be safe. I haven't heard of anything too negative besides we got a lot of water. So
yeah,
which we obviously always need, especially right in the middle of summer. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, August. What's going on right now?
I love it though. We need the water, man. So these mountains right here are brown. I like seeing green. So hopefully some stuff can come back. But yeah, another episode 11, I believe we're on. And today is officially the start, in our view at least, of NFL season. We're through preseason week 2. Oh, almost. There's a game tonight. And then preseason week 3 starts. Tonight. Oh, there was a game. Yeah, true.
Who won? About the ending. The Ravens lost at the field goal. Remember the
that's right. Yeah, Ravens win streak broken.
Done. No more. Which is just bizarre in the first place. But hey, cool record to have, I guess, in the book.
Yeah, I mean, people talk about it, right? So
yeah, true.
Why not think about it? Anyways, so that was pretty cool. And now we're moving in. So what we're going to do this week, as we mentioned on the previous podcast, is we're going to review the NFL. We're going to start this evening or this week with the NFC, and then we're going to break down the AFC on Friday. So what we're going to do is we're going to start with the NFC West.
Dude, heck yeah. I feel like it's already season. It's already the season. It just started.
We're already ready. Yeah. So we've chosen, obviously, the Monday Night Football song because it's Monday. So happy Monday Night Football. Soon to be, very, very soon to be. Well, like I said, there's preseason game on tonight, but real football is coming. So, yeah. So excited to talk about the NFC, man. You?
Heck yeah. I mean, I'm not, as a fan of the Titans, I don't have to worry about the NFC for most of the season, obviously. So it's nice to just preview what's going to happen in a conference that doesn't really bother me or have anything to do with me.
Exactly. Well, we're going to start, like I said, with the NFC West. What we're going to do is we're going to have like a graphic of the teams. We're going to have a little bit of a show you who our division winner is going to be. And then we're going to kind of break down each division a little bit about what we think about it. So, again, starting with the NFC West. Okay. So we both think the Niners. Okay. Yeah, so why are you picking the Niners?
I mean, it's hard not to. They've won it the last couple of years, even with Purdy last year coming in as the third string quarterback. So I think it's theirs to lose at this point because Seattle was good last year and made a run for a while, but I don't think they're going to have the same effect as far as winning the division. They might sneak in as a wild card maybe, but I just think it's the Niners, man. Like, they go last year, they're going to start Trey Lance. And then before that, they even thought about getting rid of Garoppolo, even though he just took him to a Super Bowl a couple years ago. And then he somehow stays in town, which is just kind of bizarre to start camp with that. And then Lance gets hurt 2 weeks in with the broken or fractured right ankle. Then you bring Garoppolo in, and then like week 15, he gets hurt. I'm sorry, week 13, my bad. And then Brock Purdy, they have no choice but to put him in, and Mr. Irrelevant from the previous year's draft becomes like this overnight sensation until he basically has no elbow in the NFC title game against the Eagles. So I think basically they're having the same team come back, and if Purdy is healthy and can just do what he did last year within the offense, which it seems like Shanahan just wins with whoever wants to be a quarterback for the Niners these days. So, and if their defense is coming back with Bosa and they're the same people, like I don't expect anything different. Now they did change coordinators because D'Amico Ryans took the job in Houston as the head coach. So, but they brought in Steve Wilkes, who, as you know, as a Cardinal fan, had a head coaching job for 1 year,
Yep.
but has been a D coordinator multiple times. And I don't anticipate the defense to really slip any. They've been good for the last few years as long as they're healthy, and I think the same case goes for this year. Partially, you look at the division too. Like the Rams and Cardinals are bad. I mean, you even said as
Really
a Cardinal
bad.
fan, you're kind of hoping they're really bad so you can get Caleb Williams. So
Yes.
they're not going to be a factor. The Rams are like in this weird. I wouldn't be shocked if they went like 9-7, but I also think they could win maybe 5 games. So I don't really know what to expect from them. And then I think Seattle last year with Geno, like they learned a lot, and I think with Bobby Wagner coming back, maybe the Legion of Boom 2.0 maybe shows up for a year. And if Geno can just control what he can control and not turn the ball over, and they can do their thing, maybe Seattle gets a wild card. But I don't think they're going to get to the point of pushing the Niners for the division title. So at my point, it's all Niners all day.
No, I got you. Let me I guess comment on a couple pieces that you talked about. Yeah, that Brock Purdy show is crazy, man. He's basically, the Niners are undefeated in games that he starts and finishes. Obviously, he started the game against the Eagles, but really haphazardly finished and didn't really at all. So,
Yeah.
it's crazy because I remember when Suckup was taken last and he turned in to be a great kicker, and everybody thought that was like the craziest thing, as Mr. Irrelevant actually has a job in the NFL, because most times the last round, but definitely most times the person picked last is not sticking around at least too long. And the fact that a kicker did was pretty impressive, because it takes a lot. But the fact that a quarterback is now the starter of a Super Bowl favorite to amongst many is pretty cool. It's pretty cool to see. So I don't necessarily root for the success, obviously, as a Cardinals fan, but my mom is a Niners fan. So shout out, Mom. So she always kind of grew up being a huge Joe Montana, Jerry Rice fan, and then obviously a Steve Young fan as well. She's moved out to the desert, so she has what of a conflict, but
ooh, that's true. I forgot
yeah,
about
but
that.
right,
She's in Cardinal
right,
country.
so, exactly. But other than that, I basically agree with everything that you said. This is the Niners division to lose. I think of them, the Rams are probably the biggest question mark to me, because I don't know what they're going to be. They were injured with two of their best players, at least on offense last year, and Cooper Kupp and Matt Stafford. And it just seemed to be like this weird layoff after winning the Super Bowl. And exactly. But the Seahawks and the Cardinals, I kind of feel like I know what they are. I know the Seahawks are going to be pretty good, and I'm hoping that the Cardinals are going to be pretty bad. So I just feel like I don't really know exactly what's going to happen. He actually also, as in Cooper Kupp, recently re-aggravated his ankle at practice. Ooh. So even going into the season, he's somewhat hobbled. I know McVay talks about not playing his starters in preseason, but he's got to get him some reps. So it's obviously why he was out there. I think the biggest contender to the Niners is going to be the Seahawks, unless, like I said, the Rams just pull something out of thin air.
Like I said, 9-7, 5 wins. I don't know what to expect out of that team right now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Geno could repeat and kind of still hold like what he brought last year. They added a new weapon out of Ohio State and Jackson Smith and Najigba. Let me not say his name incorrectly. And that already adds to DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett. That receiving core is insane. They got a speedster. They got an over-the-top, just like GOAT in Metcalf. And I saw JSN, and he was nuts. I mean, granted, he was tearing up corners from college, but still, he was really good. The cool part, though, I actually did a little bit of research last night. The reason why I think the Seahawks are the biggest contenders is because their defense it may not be Legion of Boom worthy, right? But it's up there. Last year, they actually finished the season after giving up an average of 26 points per game throughout the first 11 weeks. They were able to hold opponents to an average of 20 points per game, so under 3 touchdowns, something I feel like Geno and company could put up for the last 5 games of the regular season last year. So I know that Pete knows what he's doing about putting a defense together, so I'll give him a little bit of credit there. With an improved offense, I think they might be a threat, but overall, I think it's it's San Fran's. The one note I have about Arizona is they're in the Caleb Williams sweepstakes. I'm honestly
Yes.
hoping that the Texans do pretty bad too, because the Cardinals hold their first
Oh,
round pick next year.
I
So if
forgot about
they
that.
do poorly, then we'll have, I don't hope they do too bad. I hope the best for who went there, CJ Stroud.
Yeah.
I hope the best for him and the team. I mean, but I just want them to not have like a ton of wins, so that
And
way, their pick is let's maybe pair Caleb Williams, the best quarterback in college right now and one of the best prospects in a long time, with maybe like a Marvin Harrison Jr. at like a 3 or 4 pick, depending on where the Texans end up. I'd love to see it. So I think that was Nick Wright's idea. Shout out Nick Wright. I won't steal that.
no, that is a great idea, but I totally forgot about them having Houston's draft pick. But as a Titans fan, I'm always rooting for Texans losses. So on your team for that part for sure. Definitely want to see
Yeah.
them lose. Want to see them back at the bottom of the division. Which, I mean, if we're gonna break down division by division, the next one we're gonna go is the one that seems to be a topsy turvy one. It's always one of those like a last place team could get into first place the following season. We're gonna break down the NFC South, but before we do, here's our picks.
Okay. So we agree again.
I have to
We
say, I
agree
did
again.
not when we did these picks, we did not ask each other who we were picking first. I did not expect you to pick the Saints. I thought for sure that was going to be the one I had random.
Boy, do you think I was going with this one?
No, I did not.
Oh,
I
no, these
honestly
are
thought
last
maybe
place.
you'd go Carolina just because Bryce Young is young and like,
I do
that's
like
funny.
Bryce Young.
With the coach there and how they're going to play. But I didn't know you were going to go Saints. So I thought it was funny that we both went Saints.
Yeah, I think we were actually filling this out at the same time, but we weren't online at the same time in the sense of like we weren't talking. We both
No,
just happened to be in the sheet at the same time during all of this rain when there was nothing really else to do. So
yeah,
yeah, but it is. I just think that they have pretty much everything. The only thing they were missing was consistency and a lack of injury. And with Derek Carr, hopefully he can bring both. Knock on wood. I never hope for injuries for anybody, so
no, for
hope
sure.
that's not a jinx. But I think he's the stable force that they've been needing. I think he was underrated in Las Vegas. I know Raiders fans, I feel like we're 50-50. Some days they liked him and understood what he did, and there were some days where I feel like they didn't, and they were ready to run him out of town. So I think he's
One
found
of
a new
those
home, and I think
toxic
he'll.
relationships.
Yeah, I agree, but I think he'll do well. I think he'll do well here.
Yeah, I do too, and that's part of the reason I picked them. I think that ever since obviously Sean Payton left the Saints, they haven't been the same. We get that, and even before that, the last couple of years of Drew Brees and the transition to, uh, I think it was Winston at one point, who's still there as a backup. But it's just been a weird transition of that, just weird quarterback after weird quarterback with an unhealthy Brees at the end. So to see Cargo there, and I think I mean, they have Michael Thomas there. They just brought in well, Alvin Kamara will be there in week 4, obviously with the suspension. But then they also signed Jamal Williams from the Lions, and he had 1,000 yards rushing last year in Detroit. So
That's pretty
if
good. Hey, Detroit's
Carr
pretty good.
can,
Don't give him some props.
hey, I'm the props are there. I'm just saying, like you go
Talk
to the
about him next.
Lions, you don't expect a lot there. So you come down here,
True.
and then you have Michael Thomas, and then Kamara when he's healthy. Then you have him, and then if long as Carr can just do his thing and not turn the ball over, and I mean I gotta think it might be one of Derek Carr's like best years of his career coming up with this team.
Don't forget Chris Olave on the outside as well. That rookie from
Oh, that's
last year, he
true.
was he was good. I think he almost won Rookie of the Year. Um, he was in contention for it as well, for sure. So
Yeah, I
he's
could
good.
easily dude, I forgot about him. But yeah, like I said, I just feel like they've been missing somebody to be stable at that position for so long and healthy as well. And Carr's been pretty stable and healthy in Oakland/Vegas. Obviously, it didn't end well there, but that's like it ends sour at a lot of places. It seems like in the NFL, but sometimes you go somewhere and the grass is not always greener. But maybe in this case, it is. I have to think at least there's an opportunity. You're not in the AFC West with Pat Mahomes, Russell Wilson, and Justin Herbert anymore, so if you're Derek Carr, you got to feel good about that. You're in a division that has Tampa, that's completely, no offense to your jersey because you rooted for the last version of this
Yeah,
team, but
TB12, bro.
yeah,
TB12.
exactly. But like Baker Mayfield and Kyle Trask, I think his name is, are still battling for the starting position. They haven't announced the starter yet. We're going to go into the last week of the preseason. That's not a good sign that they haven't made a decision yet. And then we talked about Carolina. Bryce Young is going to be great. Frank Wright is there to be the head coach who helped the Eagles as the offensive coordinator beat Brady in the Super Bowl. Sorry to bring it up. But, so like there's a lot of promise in Carolina, but I think they're probably a year or two away. I don't think Bryce is going to take them from 0 to the playoffs, and it's just so hard to do that in the NFL. I feel like, especially as a rookie quarterback. So I feel like they're a year away. And then Atlanta. I mean, we watched the quarterbacks thing. Mariota got the job lost, and then they gave Desmond Ridder, which I'm assuming is going to be the starter at the beginning of the year. Oh, Ritter. I'm sorry. I'm assuming he's going to be the starter because they're still rebuilding. So I don't expect much out of them either. So it's kind of the Saints' division to lose at this point, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, for sure. This is Derek Carr's first opportunity at a division title. He was there when he was young, when Manning and the Broncos were dominating / winning a Super Bowl. And then obviously he's been there for Patrick Mahomes' tenure, and well, nobody wins under Patrick Mahomes except Tom Brady. So I'm just saying.
No, it's
so beat him head to head every time.
Yeah, I was gonna say he did do it.
So I do think he finally gets to feel what it's like. So that's pretty cool. I don't think he's got much competition, like you were saying. I think Carolina is actually going to be surprising. I do think Bryce Young is good. I think he's very good.
I just don't think they're make the playoffs and win the division.
No, 100%. No, definitely not winning the division. And I think they're out of the wild card. Even in a not so great NFC, there's still a handful of teams that are better than them. Maybe not a handful, but at least 2 or 3 teams that are better than them. Yeah. So Atlanta is the question mark to me. Does Desmond Ridder have a sophomore slump, or does he take his big leap? The Bucs are cellar dwellers, I believe. Obviously, with the Cardinals, I think they're fighting for Caleb Williams as well. If they have their own first pick, I don't see why they wouldn't. They didn't trade for Tom Brady technically, so
no, we should have.
But that's the only one that I really have a question about is Atlanta. They're my, I guess, Rams of this division, trying to kind of figure out whether or not, like, what they're going to be. Are they going to be a version of what they were last year with going back and forth between Mariota and Desmond Ridder, or are they going to? Is Desmond Ridder going to make that leap and be a little bit more stable like a Matt Ryan?
Yeah,
I guess that's what's to be seen. But
I mean, one thing that if you're Atlanta, you got to be looking for just like maybe 7 to 8 wins and improve, right?
Yeah, you just want something improvement. You just want something better than what you've done last year, something to build on. And really, what you're really hoping for is Desmond Ridder. He doesn't have to have a good year, but he has to look good in what he's doing. He can have like that Peyton Manning-esque year, right, where the stats don't necessarily jump out at you as amazing. But Peyton Manning went down as one of the greatest quarterbacks of all time. Now, believe me, that's not what I'm saying Desmond Ridder is doing, but I'm saying that he started poorly and ended up being great. So, but if he looks good at what he's doing, then I guess that's what they're really hoping for. There is no captain in Tampa, though. It's a ship that has no. I don't even know if they have a ship. Maybe they have no ship. I know they have no map.
They did not take it out of the stadium.
Don't have a captain.
Right? That's like the best part of the stadium. They could not have taken
Tom took it with him. Tom took it with him. He said, "You know what, man? Until you guys can earn this back, this is going to be in my backyard." So,
oh my god, that'd be great.
Sitting over in Foxborough. He moved back there too. So, but yeah, it's definitely, in my opinion, again. One thing to note, all of this is being recorded in week 2/3 of the preseason. This has no bearing on injuries that may happen from now. And so obviously all of this is with injuries in mind.
Yeah, of course. Like, it's the NFL. That's why their whole thing is next man up. Every week is completely different, and you never know what you're going to get. So this is our predictions now before we even do. I mean, we haven't even done a fantasy football draft yet. That's how late we're pushing that back because of injuries and
doing Jonathan 9
Taylor's
days
situation.
Exactly. We've talked about that on Friday. Sneak preview.
Yeah,
Jonathan Taylor's situation has changed.
Hopefully there'll be an update by Friday.
Know. Yeah, we know a little bit.
A little bit.
So, anyways, moving on from the south, we are going straight up to the north. Let's check out who we picked.
The north.
Who you picked? You picked I got one.
This one, you seem a little crazy.
We're different. We're different. Perfect. We finally have one where we disagree on who wins this division. You went boring and just picked a repeat winner, and I thought out of the box.
I have to say, I debated Detroit a lot. I really did. I had Detroit initially, then I scratched them out with Minnesota, then I scratched them out. I went back and forth with them a couple times, but ultimately I feel like I trust Kirk Cousins just a little more than Jared Goff, so I went with them to win the division. But I mean, it's just hard not. Well, I guess after watching quarterbacks, it's hard not to watch and root for Kirk Cousins anymore. I used to just think he was okay and hope he won or like whatever in Minnesota. I have nothing against the Vikings, but now I feel like after watching that, I'm kind of like rooting for him a little more. And I think
Hmm.
with Justin Jefferson there, they drafted
That
Jordan Addison
bro,
out of USC. Like,
that guy's crazy,
yeah,
dude. J
Jefferson's
Jeff.
amazing.
Oh my
So
gosh, he's
add
so good,
Jordan
dude.
Addison to the other side, who back in college a couple years ago won the Fred Biletnikoff Award, which is the best wide receiver in the nation. So you're adding that on
Yeah.
top. Now they did lose Dalvin Cook because they cut him or let him go, and he went to New York. But I think if you got those kind of weapons on the outside and you have a decent offensive line where Kirk Cousins can move, then the running game will probably take care of itself, which that's what tends to happen in the NFL anyway. Like I said, I really thought about the Lions on this one, but I just couldn't do it. I just couldn't officially say they were going to win the division.
Yeah, well, I couldn't either because as much as I do think they're good and they're improved of where they were, I don't think that I feel like something is always just has to be disappointing about the Lions.
It's like the Clippers.
That's 100%. Honestly, you know what's crazy though is I saw there's this thing that's been going around social media. JFK has only missed one Detroit Lions playoff victory, and he died in the 60s, I think. So
I have seen that before. Actually, it's really fun. There's some of those weird stats about things like that that just are so great. Which I just love the numbers.
yeah. So, but basically, I guess my argument for the Bears is mostly that they'll improve and that the Vikings won't be as good. They were 11-1 last year in one-score games, and I just don't think that they will be that efficient again. Mistakes happen, and I feel like a lot of things have to go your way. They also made the most improbable comeback in NFL history against the Colts that one game. Remember, that was
Dude,
nuts.
I was watching it at work. We had it on the TV, and the game started. Next thing you know, it's what 30-0. I'm like, oh, this game's over. And then I went and took lunch, and I come back, and they're like within 2 touchdowns, and then we watched the whole rest of the game. It was insane.
Yeah, it was nuts. So that I don't think that happens again. Let's just cut it in
Yeah.
half. Let's just say they win, and I'll give them the better half. I'll give them 6-5 in the game. That makes them 6-6 in those situations, which obviously knocks their record down a lot. Just enough for one of these ferocious beasts to pounce, and I've obviously chosen the bear above the lion. I think that Justin Fields improves. I think he makes that jump. I don't think he has that sophomore slump. And he finally has a coach that is more offensive minded. He was with Matt Nagy before, which was ready to just basically kind of move on from everybody. And he got DJ Moore in that trade with Carolina for the number 1 pick.
Yep.
He has Darnell Mooney, who's left over from before, so he has chemistry with him. They acquired Chase Claypool, who did pretty well and is drafted by the Steelers. So Steelers know how to draft, especially at the wide receiver position.
Yes, facts.
And so I just feel like it's going to be a tight race, and I feel like the Vikings are it's going to be between these three. No offense to the Packers. I just feel like Jordan Love is too new. They got young wide receivers. I don't even know anybody on their offensive line that I've heard of anymore besides Bakhtiari, and he's not even – I think he's hurt. So I just don't feel like the Packers do it this year. So I'm just giving it – I'm just going to go by chance and say Justin Fields brings that winning energy that he had at Ohio State, and he brings it over to Chicago and is able to just narrowly clinch the division. Literally, maybe one or maybe by tiebreaker.
Jeez, with a tie game on the schedule too, maybe.
No. Tiebreaker, as in like
no,
they've
I
won
know,
more
but I'm
division
saying
games.
it could be that
ahead.
close where they had a tie game.
I mean, it could be
They
sure.
still
Yeah,
won.
it could be sure. But no, what I was, that's not what I was. That's what I was saying.
I mean, I can see the Bears improving. I expect them to not be. I actually am expecting the Packers to be last because I think with the rebuilding of Jordan Love and not knowing what we're getting into, like it could be really rough there. So I kind of expect the Bears to jump up into third in the division, if not second, maybe with the Lions, depending on how bad. Because again, I want to pick the Lions to win the division, but I just went against it. But I just think in the long run, like Minnesota's just so steady. They have the same coaching staff, and again, they added Addison Reed, and they didn't really lose much on defense. And their defense, I believe, was top 4 last year, rated by Pro Football Focus. So I mean, it was them, the Niners, Eagles, and Chiefs. All 4 of those teams, I believe, 3 of those teams were in the conference championship weekend last year. So if their defense is as good as it was last year, it can be even semi less than that, and Kirk Cousins can do his thing with Reed and Jefferson, I think they have no worry about winning the division.
I guess we shall see. I just have a feeling. The Bears have a good defense too.
Yeah, and like I said, I debated the Lions for a long time, but I just went away with that beast and that animal, and we're going to move on to a different division. at this point. We're going to do the last one, which, again, this is another one of those. I think we'll go over the stat at some point, but you never know who's going to win this division year to year. We're talking about the NFC East.
Exactly. Let's check it out. We differ here as well. Okay, so we're split on half of them.
Yep. Yes,
Perfect.
we are. And I mean, again, I
you picked the easy one.
Yeah, I kind of did a little bit.
I got bold and tried to pick something a little different. So,
I mean,
Eagles are obviously a
made the
fantastic
playoffs, so
franchise.
that's not that crazy.
Okay. That's true. But they're making that step this year. Danny Dimes, he's not him, but with Saquon back and he's been practicing with the stuff. Brian Daboll is going to turn Daniel Jones into a serviceable quarterback. And I think the Giants have a lot of weapons around him. They got Darren Waller. I think that they'll be able to make that stand. That stat that you were talking about is the stat that really made me not pick the Eagles, although the Eagles were the last to do it. The same team has not won the NFC East consecutive divisions in 18 seasons.
Told you, it's a topsy-turvy division. It's kind of like the NFC South almost.
Exactly, and I'm saying that doesn't change today. The Eagles were great, but I think the reason why, and this is my main reason, and you'll see why, because I think they're a great team, and you'll see as we progress why I do think they're a great team, but I think they start slow. Not because they're not talented, but they have a brand new offensive coordinator and a defensive coordinator. So the people in charge of both have left, and it's time for the new. So I think it might take some time to get acclimated to it. Might be some miscommunications here or there because they thought this other play or this one. So I think they fall behind at the beginning in the sense that they may have some trouble with the new systems in the sense of playing as cleanly as possible. Brian Daboll's been there for a year now. It's just another year with that system. And so I think they're going to play a little bit more clean. This one's going to be narrow as well because Dallas, I feel, is a good team. The only team that really is not in contention here is Washington. So Dallas is a good team as well. I believe I have all of them making the playoffs. So
I can see that. And I agree with you because I actually have the Giants making the playoffs. So, well, I just don't have them winning the division. So, I mean, Danny Dimes and Saquon have another year together with Daboll, like you said. I understand all that completely. I just feel like the Eagles are such a veteran-heavy team that those guys are not going to let this team fall or get out of their groove. Like Kelsey, the center, has been there for both Super Bowl runs. So he's seen the ebbs and flows and the real lows. And I'm sure him and a couple of those other guys do not want to get down at that point. And knowing Jalen Hurts, the guy wins everywhere, man. He won in Alabama, then he lost the job to Tua. Then he goes to Oklahoma and he wins. I know Lincoln Riley can win with everybody, but still. Then he goes to the NFL and everyone's like, oh, they drafted him late because, they won't be able to have him. But here he is, and then he's starting, and he took him to a Super Bowl. So everywhere he goes, he wins. Why would I pick against him at this point?
Okay, hold on. You did not just pass over Alabama and give Lincoln Riley the credit of winning all the time and pretend like his winning at Alabama.
As far as
they win all the time, too. They win all the time. He was there. He was there. I'm talking about
this quarterback. Like, he had him as a Heisman candidate. That's not just the coaching staff. That's also the player, too, no?
Yes, agree. Okay. But everybody is a Heisman candidate under Lincoln Riley.
But he was before
Baker,
under Saban,
Kyler.
So it's not like it was the only thing that was the reason. I'm just saying that everywhere he goes, in high school, he was really good. He's in the NFL.
Okay, maybe it's high school that you got. The Eagles are a great organization and probably the best one in this division. Maybe the Giants have competition. So I just think they're a well-run organization as well. They got great dude. Howie Roseman knows exactly what he's doing.
Yep.
This is a weird stat, and this is why I think they're going to take a small step back. And it's because of their defense. Jalen Hurts is going to do his thing. They obviously lost Miles Sanders, but they got DeAndre Swift. If he can stay on the field, he'll be good. So I don't think there's a loss there. Listen to the quarterbacks that the defense, one of the top-ranked defenses in the league, faced last year. Carson Wentz, Cooper Rush, Kenny Pickett as a rookie, Davis Mills, Taylor Heineke, Matt Ryan, Jordan Love after knocking out Aaron Rodgers, and Andy Dalton.
Okay, but the offense is still pretty good, so they had to do
Okay,
something
but
and score some
if
points,
no,
right?
I agree. Yes, I agree. I'm not debating. I'm just saying that top ranked offense and top ranked defense. Well, that top ranked defense is a little bit shakier than maybe thought because
Is Dak
the
Prescott or Danny Dimes much better than most of those names you just said? I feel like they're not that much better.
yes, for
I
sure,
mean,
better
they
than the
are better,
Washington
but
people. And now that Daniel Jones, you disrespect Daniel Jones. There's a graphic. I'm pretty sure I sent it to you. He's one of the top quarterbacks. He's actually compared to people that. Uh, now I don't want to bring it up because I don't remember the player. So, but anyways, put some respect on his name. He's good.
I'm not
Dak
saying they're
is
not
pick
good, but
happy.
I'm just you named all those quarterbacks, and I'm thinking, okay, like this level, and then Dak and them are here, and then there's like better quarterback. Like, is it really that much
That's
of a
four
step?
games. I just named 8 games where they had bad quarterbacks.
Yeah, again, but that's half the games. So again, what's the difference in the level of quarterback at that? It's not really that much of a difference. And Dak threw how many interceptions last year, and he played fewer games than most people did at the quarterback position as far as that category goes. So
Okay.
it's not like they're facing the greatest quarterbacks within their division necessarily either. We're not talking about Daniel Jones being a
I
all
included
star,
the
all
Washington
pro
quarterbacks on
quarterback or
here.
anything.
Yep, you're right, but he's better than every single person I named on that list.
No lie there. I'm just saying it's not
So if
dramatically
that's the
better.
baseline, right? If the baseline of the division is above 8 people, that's cause for concern, is what I'm saying. Because you think that they're going to face 8 quarterbacks that are worse than Daniel Jones and Dak again this year?
With
Not
the
with the
way
first place
injuries happen in
schedule.
the quarterback position, who knows who they're going to face by week 10 and beyond? You don't even know. They could be facing the Rams and get Stenson Bennett by that point. Like, they don't control who their opponent has at quarterback that day. They just, the schedule is the schedule. They play the quarterback who's there that day, right?
Very true. All right. Shall we move on?
Let's do it.
We have a little switch up. So after talking about them, let's run through. We came up with some random questions to kind of talk things that we might want to talk about or answer. So let's show our fun wheel. We're each going to answer 3 of these questions. And what do you want to go first?
Yeah, I'll go first.
All right.
Spin that wheel. It's like I'm on the Price is Right.
All right. Question is: will Saquon run over 1,000 yards this season?
Yeah, I think he will. I think he's going to be determined after all the franchise tag stuff. I think he's going to be ready to go and actually want to get paid in the offseason. So he's going to try to get over 1,000. Honestly, I wouldn't be shocked if he gets over maybe 1,200.
Okay. Was that wait rush? Okay. Let's clarify this question. Rushing or all purpose?
I was thinking rushing. Is that
Okay.
if the question is rushing 1,000, I'm saying yes for sure.
Okay. Got you. Okay. I like
All
it.
purpose, then definitely.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. Okay. All
right.
right. Next
Spin
question.
that wheel.
All right. Who has the best overall defense in the NFC? That's a good question. Well, as I look through the NFC, I kind of think, well, it's kind of easy to go back to what I was, even though I was just dogging them for not playing anybody. They drafted fat this year. They basically have the entire Georgia team. But I'm not going to pick them. I'm going to pick someone in the division. I'm going to say the Cowboys, actually, surprisingly. And I'm going to
Wow.
think, and it's really because Micah Parsons.
Makes
They
sense.
have Gilmore. They have Diggs as the back. He's a little bit of a route jumper, but a lot of times his guessing pays off. So I think Micah Parsons is approaching the best defensive player in the NFL. I feel like he's already in the conversation with the TJ Watts and the
Yep.
Nick Bosa's and
Aaron
still
Donald.
Aaron Donald a little bit, obviously, right? So I feel like Micah Parsons is in that conversation. I think he's going to be him this year, and I'm going to say that I'm going to surprise you, haha, and say that the Cowboys have the best defense, overall defense in the NFC.
It's not a crazy pick if you think about it. Like you said, Micah Parsons alone, like that guy is a beast.
Yes, agree. I thought of something that we actually shouldn't include. Let's skip it if it comes up. Hopefully it doesn't. Perfect. All right. Okay, let's flip it. Now let's flip it.
Ooh,
Who
the
has the
best
best overall
overall
offense?
offense. Okay. Best offense in the NFC. Dang. Okay, I don't think it's going to be Philly again. They were too good last year. I think they'll take a step back, but still be good.
Mm-hmm.
I think, in a weird way, I think it's going to be the Niners. I think that if Brock Purdy is healthy and plays within their system, and Debo and Kittle and all those guys do their thing,
Kittle,
then
bro.
Brandon Ayuk, like then they're going to be good. And a lot of it is quick stuff and get it out of the hands quick and don't let the quarterback make a lot of decisions necessarily. But whatever works, Shanahan knows what he's doing, so it always seems to work out. So I'm going to go with the Niners.
Okay, another surprise pick because they're mostly a defensive, run the ball, don't mess up team. But I like it. They could. I mean, Christian McCaffrey is not just a hand the ball off kind of running back, and he's got lightning speed and big playability. So
Dang,
I like
I
that.
even forgot about McCaffrey. I named all those wide receivers and tight end. I didn't even mention McCaffrey.
Come on, bro.
That's how
Exactly.
stacked they are.
They are stacked. They are stacked. I'll give that to you. That's good.
Just
like
not a quarterback.
One. Exactly. All right. Next one.
Spin that wheel. All right, man. What's your second?
Who ends the season with the worst record in the NFC? Okay. Well, I have a hope and I have a thought.
Okay.
I think it's actually going to be a coin toss between the team I'm repping on my jersey and the team I'm repping most of the time, which is the Cardinals and the Bucks. I'm going to give the edge to the Cardinals.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
Because I'm just hoping that they're the worst team in the league. I really want Caleb Williams so bad, man.
You
got to come out of this pit.
Yeah, and I feel like the Cardinal defense is pretty bad, and I feel like Tampa's defense is like semi-decent because there's still a couple guys left over from when they were good, and their coach is a defensive head coach.
Devontae White.
Who was the coach over there?
Davis.
I can't think of the guy who took over. Todd Bowles, right?
Todd Bowles.
Yeah, so like defensive coach minded. I think the defense will be solid, so they will be in a lot of games. Maybe not win a lot, but they'll definitely win more than the Cardinals. I think at this point.
I think so, and I hope so. And I hope the AFC does a little bit better as well. So besides the Texans, they can come in second. Yeah, actually, they can come in first, too. If we come in second, I don't really care. Maybe they can have the word. We have a chance to – we have 2 chances.
Dude, could you imagine you guys get the number 1 and the number 2 overall pick?
Dude.
And you don't
we
have to trade for it. It's already there.
Right?
Oh.
We would have to trade 2, I guess.
Oh, yeah, probably, because trade it back a little bit and get another pick for later. Like, oh,
exactly.
Man, but you guys would set yourself up for the long term at that point.
All right, your last question.
Spin that wheel. What you got? What I got? Did I win?
You won.
Biggest surprise. Ooh,
yes, whatever that might be. Positive surprise, negative surprise. What's your biggest surprise in the NFC?
The biggest surprise would be is if the Lions actually lived up to the hype and then somehow won the NFC title and go to the Super Bowl. That would be just the biggest. I mean, I know everyone's hyping them up to win and be in the playoffs, but if they were to actually make it, that would be like a celebration in itself, I feel like. But to go all the way to the Super Bowl, that would definitely be the biggest surprise.
I agree. That's pretty good. Yeah. I don't even have them making the playoffs. I have, obviously, the Bears winning the division and Minnesota taking a wild card spot, but which we'll talk about later. Dang, spoiler alert. Oops.
We've done a couple spoilers as we gone along here.
True. But yeah, that would be surprising.
I'd be so stoked.
All right, last spin.
$1 million?
Yeah. Will Jordan Love make Packers fans forget about Aaron Rodgers? No.
Yeah, that should be a quick answer there.
yeah, I think that he's going to be, but better than average. But if he was the next anything, they would have done what they did with Brett Favre and got rid of him sooner instead of dragging it on like they did and waiting until they had some weird bad season and some turmoil and all this kind of stuff. So I think that he'll be good. I think that Packers fans will be surprised with Jordan Love in a good way. I think that he'll be positive. I think he's going to have like maybe not like go to the Super Bowl, but like a Jared Goff-esque kind of career track. Just like, yeah, he's good. You take him on your team.
Yeah. The offense will run. They'll score some points. Nothing crazy. Don't expect a lot.
That kind of thing. Yep, exactly. That's pretty much what I'm saying. So
nothing wrong with that at all.
No, not at all. All right. Well, that was the fun little wheel game.
I like that. We're gonna try to get that in a little more often here. We'll see what we can do moving forward. But that was fun. I like that. And maybe we should make the questions just random, not even necessarily about the NFL or the topic we're talking about at the moment. It could be about something else.
That's true. I like that. We
All
could
right.
do
Well, I know
like pop culture or something.
yeah, exactly. Just some like random stuff and like even questions about us to like get people to know more about us. I know we did our episode 9, which you can check out on YouTube or Spotify, that we kind of talked about ourselves and our fanhood and
True.
everything, but it'd be another way to kind of introduce people to more about us. All right. So now that we've given you all our division winners, we're going to go ahead and give you our division winners and the wild card and the 7 seeds of how we have them set up going into the playoffs. So as we both picked the Niners to win the NFC West, I have them as the number 1 seed, getting 12 wins. Obviously, they'll have the bye week off in the first round. I then have Philly, like we talked about. I have them winning the division. It might be a close one with New York, but they are going to get it and ultimately be the 2 seed. I have New Orleans being the 3 seed. I know that's kind of weird, but I think the Minnesota and them might have the same amount of wins, and they'll have
I
the
don't think that's weird.
tiebreaker. Oh yeah, that's true. You probably don't. But I have the Giants as the 5, and then I have the Seahawks getting the 6 seed. And then again, I know I said I thought about the Lions making it in as the division winner, but I ultimately gave them the 7 seed, so they're at least in the playoffs.
Snuck
we get
in.
to see them. Yeah, but
Okay.
how far they get, that's a different question. But
True.
going game by game here for the first round, obviously the Niners are going to win. They're not playing anybody. They have the best week of everybody.
Yeah.
But the second game I have is the Eagles and Lions. Obviously the Lions getting there is a huge accomplishment for them. They haven't been there a long time, let alone won a playoff game in forever. I think you talked about there was some crazy stat about JFK since he was dead that they've only won 1 playoff game or something.
Yes.
Yeah,
he's only missed 1 playoff win.
So it's been a while, but I have them ultimately losing to the Eagles. I think that they're one of those teams that it took so long to get to that point that they're just going to be more celebratory of even making the playoffs and not really continue moving on and making any kind of noise beyond making it. So I have the Eagles moving on to the second round. I then have 2 road games that I think are going to go the way I'm thinking in the third, and fourth game. I'm going to have. I know this is weird, but I think the Seahawks can go to New Orleans. I know it's a loud stadium and home field and everything.
Man. Are you saying they're used to loud with the 12th man?
They play in front of the 12th man half the year, so I don't think noise is going to be an issue for them. And in a weird way, I trust Derek Carr. I trust Geno Smith. I don't know who I trust more, but I think with Pete Carroll as the head coach in Seattle, I have more trust in the Seahawks maybe squeaking out a win. I mean, let's be honest. Derek Carr has never won a lot in the playoffs. They've not been there very much, so I think that kind of continues. But New Orleans makes a huge improvement and jump from last year, so that's
true. Well, Pete Carroll did have that remember that good idea where he decided when they were on the 1 yard line, he thought it would be best to probably throw the ball. So that's good.
Yeah, well, maybe that wasn't his finest moment.
I just love it, Tom. Baby.
No, I know. I was going to say, what are you mad about? It worked out for the favor that
Not
you
mad
like.
at all. Not mad at all. Okay.
And
okay.
Then,
well, I see that. Okay.
And then the last game, I again have the road team winning. I think the Giants go to Minnesota and win. I like Kirk Cousins, like we talked about. I think that he's an easy guy to root for. But I think when it comes to the playoffs, we talked about, like, is it the big moments that he tends not to play as well? Isn't there some weird stat of, like, the primetime game at 1 o'clock? He's, like, 1-7 his career or some weird thing like that. So,
yeah, I don't know if it's the 1 o'clock game, but all the prime times, like Monday nights, Sunday nights. I
knew there was some
Thursday nights.
Okay.
Yes, prime time. That's it. Yep.
Gotcha. Okay, but it's a terrible.
If he's a regular game, no problem.
Okay, so well, this is definitely not a regular game, so I don't think he's going to show up, and I think they ultimately lose. It sucks that they'll have to do it at home, but I think Saquon Barkley and Daniel Jones having got all their contracts, at least Jones got his deal. Saquon is back for the year. I think they're going to go out, and with Dable and them having another year with the offense, I think they're going to be that much better. So I think they go down, or well, I should say up to Minnesota and shock them and go move on to the second round, which sets up.
Is it shocking? They did it last week. They did it last year too, man. I think they can kick. I think I'm with you. I'm riding with you on that. I see that. I can see why you picked that one.
Right. I just feel like Minnesota's good, but they're not great. And I feel like New York is at least a little young and upcoming. And I feel like Dable, that second year, that offense is going to click even more so. Yes. So I'm excited for it.
Agree. So, and of course, again, reminder, the reordering. I know the Seahawks were down here, but of course they do it by after the wild card round, they reseed, so that way San Fran can get the lowest seed. So that's why Seahawks are up here. Just wanted to remind
everybody. We didn't forget who's playing who or how they got to that bracket.
I understand the Seahawk is not an eagle or a lion,
or they don't form or have a Seahawk as a baby. That doesn't
correct.
happen.
No. But anyways, continue.
So to set up the
division. Wow, actually both.
Yes.
NFC West versus NFC West and East versus East. Okay.
It is the divisional round, right? So we have of divisions opponents who are going to play each other for the third time in the season. I think the first game is Frisco and Seattle. I think it'll be a dogfight for about 2.5 quarters, and then I think the Niners ultimately pull away and win by like 14 or 17.
Oh wow, okay.
Make their another appearance to the NFC title game back to back. And then I have the Eagles and Giants, which is just a division battle between them. Again, just like the other one. It's so weird because if one of the teams wins 2 games, they say that to win the third one is really hard. But I feel like at this point, I just want to see the Eagles get back. I think after losing last year in the Super Bowl, they're on like a revenge tour. The Niners lost to the Eagles last year, are in a revenge tour. So for them to meet again in the NFC title game, but now in Frisco this time, I think it's just going to be a blast.
Oh yeah, swapped on. That's very true. Yeah, you have them as a top seed. Okay, I can see that.
And
okay, so then who comes out on top? A rematch of the NFC title game last year. Another heavyweight fight.
I think that, again, this is because last year without Purdy, they had no chance, really. I mean, they kind of hung for a while, but then ultimately fell.
Best they could.
I think this year, being at home and having Purdy healthy, hopefully, and to play a whole game, the Niners ultimately win and go to the Super Bowl. I think the Eagles will put a fight. I don't think it's going to be an easy game. I don't think it'll be anybody winning by more than 7. Like, it might be a 1-score game when it's a 3 or 4 point game at the end. I expect it to be close because they're both really good. But again, I think just the Niners have that one extra, like, we didn't get there last year. We want to at least get there and have an opportunity in the Super Bowl. So I feel like that is ultimately what's going to happen.
That Kyle Shanahan fight, coming through.
Hey, dude, it doesn't matter who they put at quarterback; they're always winning. So at least if they had the same guy the whole year in that offense with Ayuk and Debo and Kittles and McCaffrey, like we talked about, it's just going to be. And if that defense can be the defense they normally are, then I think they're going to be really good. And having been to an NFC title game myself at Santa Clara when they beat the Packers a few years back, it's a fun place when they're winning. So I would love to see them again. I guess I kind of have a soft spot for the Niners.
Okay, well, my mom used to be a Niners fan, so I do kind of have a soft spot for them too. But as a divisional opponent, they could go ahead and do that. I don't really care. So, but again, the Cardinals don't really do much of anything anyway, so it's not really much of an opponent, I guess you would say. More just a casualty year after year. But either way, so okay, well, that's pretty good. So we have a new NFC champion, but a rematch of the NFC championship. Okay, I like that. All right.
So well, let's move on. Conference champion in my book at this point from last year, right?
That's true. The same. Very true. I don't know if mine's the same. Let's see. Okay. Mine. I do have San Francisco still securing the top seed. I do agree with you with that one. They're the best overall team. But this is where it starts to get shaky after that because that's where I start to break it down. I actually have New Orleans because I went through the schedule. It looks pretty favorable for them. And I have them as the number 2 seed. I have the Giants winning the NFC East, but that means they have to win a lot of games because it's not like the Eagles aren't going to win, or the Cowboys. So I have them as the 3rd seed. And then I have the Bears winning, obviously, as the 4th seed, winning their division. They might even be, depending on how bad that division is, I know the Vikings are good, but they might be, like I said, just above the wild card team from their own division. So I have the Saints then playing the 7 seed Cowboys in the first round. I think they squeak in. I think all 3 of the big teams from the NFC East, sans the Commanders or football team or whatever they will be next year.
I really wish they would go back to football team.
Yeah, I want that one too. And so I have the Giants facing the Vikings as the 3-6 matchup. And I do think that the Eagles are very good, so I have them as the top wild card seed facing the Bears. As we move forward, Niners will move forward as well, obviously, playing the lowest seed. I have them playing the Eagles. This is where I really take into account the Eagles' schedule and their newness. They're still a very talented and very good team, experienced with vets, especially in all the right positions, just like you were talking about. So I actually have them winning a lot. They do handle the Bears. They handle the Bears easily. Again, the Bears are just new, happy to be here. Kind of similar to your pitch with the Lions, right? So I think they handle the Bears. That sets them up because they will be the lowest seed that I have going forward with a rematch with San Fran. However, not in the NFC title game. I have the Saints beating the Cowboys. I'm guessing Dak Prescott throws a pick, or maybe doesn't call a timeout, or slides in the middle of the field with 5 seconds left. I don't know. I feel like he just does something to mess it up. Unless, of course, the refs kind of give the jab to New Orleans again like they did with the Rams. Maybe that's how the Cowboys could win. But I'm going to say that doesn't happen and that the Saints move on. They beat the Cowboys. I think exactly what happened last year is going to happen again this year. New York faces the Vikings round 1. You also had this, and we both have New York moving on. There's a better coach team. That's no offense. I don't know. Is it Kirk Cousins in big situations? Is it that I'm fearful from picking him? I don't know what it is, but either way, I don't have them moving on. So the final 4 in the NFC I have is the Niners against the Eagles and the Saints against the Giants.
Dude, that's a good divisional round right there.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, and then the Saints hosting the Giants. Wow.
Exactly, as the 2 seeds. So
yeah, that's crazy.
Moving on then to the winners of the division games. I have the Eagles knocking off San Francisco. I know that all they needed was Brock Purdy last time, but the Eagles are on a mission. Exactly like what you said the Niners have from losing the conference. I say the Eagles have from losing the Super Bowl. They want to get back. They need to get back. They have the talent, and this is the very last year that Jalen Hurts is on his rookie contract. He's only making $25 million this year. He jumps to 40 next year. So there's already a $15 million worth of cap space gone. So there's that.
That is never
In the lower part of the bracket, I have the Saints. I just think they're a more well-rounded team, and Derek Carr has a lot more experience. Even a playoff game or so, however they lose, from Oakland / Vegas. He has got some experience, and I say that he helps them. And they actually get to host, as the 2 seed, they get to host the NFC Championship game down in New Orleans.
There are not going to be a lot of happy Raider fans if this happens.
Magic. I'm just saying, dude, he's underrated, dude.
I think your logic and everything behind your story makes sense, but I'm just thinking if I'm a Raider fan and Derek Carr leaves me in the first year he goes to New Orleans, he goes to the NFC title game at least, like, oh, man, I'm so pissed.
Yeah. Well, I don't have him winning it, though. Coming out of the NFC representing them again are the Eagles. Art, this is for you.
Fly, Eagles, fly.
I do have the Eagles coming out again. I think the only contender that they have is San Francisco. And although it was because Brock Purdy had no arms, I still think that they can beat them. Kyle Shanahan has a very specific way that he wins. And although he has a lot of fun trick plays where disguises here and disguises there, talent is aplenty in Philly. So I have them taking it again in the NFC.
All right. So we have a repeat champion from you, and I have the Niners winning it for the second time in like 5 years, I think the last time they won it. Is it 5 or 6 years now that they lost to Pat Mahomes?
It was 2019, I think it was.
So 4 years ago. Okay.
Yeah, because it was the one before Mahomes lost to Brady, right? And that was 2020
because they went
pandemic.
back to back and lost. Yeah, that adds up.
I could be wrong with that. I'll have to check.
We have the NFC champions crowned at this point, and like we talked about on Friday, we'll do the same thing and break down the AFC, and then we'll ultimately tell you who we have winning the Super Bowl.
Exactly. Excited, dude. I freaking love football season, bro.
It's so close, man.
I'm so excited that it's here. That's why I had to throw this on my NFC representation. I know Cardinals, but I just got this. I got this watching Brady's a game in Brady's last season, so wanted to rock it. Shout out to the GOAT, TB12. You the man.
Not only that, you went all the way to Tampa to see it.
This is from Tampa Stadium. Exactly. This is Raymond James bought. Not just ordered on Fanatics or whatever. No.
But I have to ask the question, just because we had this happen once when we went to a football game together. While you were walking around the concourse before you bought this jersey, did you find a $100 bill on the ground to help pay for it?
I did not. And I wish I would have, because when we were walking around Cardinals Stadium, that's exactly what happened. I know you were there. But that was crazy. It was
I
just on the
thought you were
ground. I
lying.
tried to. The first thing I did was look around to see if anybody. I didn't just grab it and like run.
Well,
I was like, "Is anybody
back
looking?"
up. Not only that, you stood on it and looked at me and said, "I think I have $100 bill underneath my shoe on the ground." I was like, "What are you talking about?" Like there was people everywhere. It was halftime. The concourse was full of people everywhere.
And I was just like, "Is anybody looking for money? Is anybody looking for money?" Okay, well, I have it. So I went and I
$100 bill.
spent it immediately. And instead of buying a beautiful Larry Fitzgerald jersey, I decided the brightest idea, what really kind of started my Arizona fanhood, was let's get a Matt Leinart jersey. He's the future. And then he obviously wasn't. So
he's still a Heisman Trophy winner. So I mean, it's not like it's the worst jersey to have.
Peak tie there. Yeah. Good for him.
Oh man, but yeah, at least you got to see Brady before it was all said and done, man.
Exactly. That was a great game. They lost to the Bengals, but also got to see Joe Burrow. Yeah, actually, funny story.
That's true.
Got this at halftime. Bucks were up, I think, by like 10. Didn't score another point, and the Bengals came back and won as soon as I put it on.
So the jersey is bad luck, is what you're saying.
That was my bad. Yeah.
Thanks for wearing it on the show.
Hey, well, no, it's not bad luck for the show. Bad luck for Tom and the team.
Oh,
that's
okay. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
that's my bad. I didn't know it was bad luck.
Thankfully, he's retired, and we'll always remember his past and his great years. But we don't have to worry about that anymore. Which I'm going to have to tie in a little bit with our MILF Monday facts of the day. So let's get ready for MILF Mondays.
I cannot believe a fine woman like this produced a guy like Stifler. Dude, I took some MILF. What the hell is that? MILF.
Man, I love facts.
Yeah,
hey guys. Again, it's MILF Monday.
MILF Monday.
So again, I talked about how Tom Brady was a great, so I was going to tie that in. So we have a fact about another great in the NFL, Jerry Rice. So a lot of people consider Jerry Rice to be the best wide receiver in NFL history.
I think everybody you mean.
Yeah. I mean, you look at the stats, it's kind of hard to argue it, right? Most of them are him at the top. It's kind of like Gretzky in the NHL. It's kind of ridiculous. So Jerry Rice averaged a career of 75.6 receiving yards a game. And if Julio Jones, who's still currently playing, although I think he's a free agent, I don't think he's in camp right now. If he were to sign with somebody and play in 25 straight games and not catch a single yard or do anything in the game, his career average of yards per game would still be higher than Jerry's. Julio at this moment has a career 87.9. That's like 12 yards and change. If he didn't play 25 games, his number would still be higher than Jerry Rice.
Because they would obviously count for games played with 0 yards received.
Correct.
So it's just knocking him down in giant chunks, and he's still above the GOAT.
That's almost 2 seasons. It's like a season and a half, basically. Like
that's impressive, man. Yeah, that's impressive.
But you shared the fact. It's nice that we go back and forth and share all these different things to have something in the chamber. And I figured we're doing the NFC preview. And what better than talk about Jerry Rice and Julio Jones?
Exactly. And both played for NFC teams majority of their career. I know 95 that Julio,
yeah.
Right. Julio played a little bit for the Titans, and I know Jerry moved into the AFC with the Raiders, but Jerry's obviously mostly known for the Niners, played a little bit with the Seahawks, and obviously Julio is very well known for his time with Matt Ryan and the Falcons. So that's a good stat, dude.
Dude, I feel bad because I really wanted Julio to get a Super Bowl, but he's never going to get a chance after blowing 28-3 to your boy.
That's okay.
Your Tom keeps coming up a lot today.
Dude, he's go, bro. And it's football talk finally again, like I said, man. Oh, dude, I'm just happy, man. So you got anything crazy ahead for the week, or just looking forward to the AFC review?
I think I'm just getting ready for Friday. I have a pretty basic week. I'm working a concert on Saturday, Lost 80s Live. It's like 7 or 8 different artists that all play like 20 to 30 minutes a piece. It's just like a rotating stage essentially at that point. So that'll be whatever. It's not really that crazy, but that's about all I got going for the week. Other than that, just chilling, working on the show, a couple date nights with B this week, and that's about it, man. Not a whole lot else going on. What about you?
Sweet. I took Wednesday off actually because I'm going to see Drake tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. I forgot about that.
Yep, at Staples Center. Me, the wife,
Staples,
and
that's right.
the homie.
You said the right name.
Yeah, Staples. What do you mean? Is there another name? Or
I don't know. People call it something else sometimes. But
Staples Center. Staples Center, yeah. Get to see Drake tomorrow, Staples. So stoked for that. So taking Wednesday off work. And so short week for me, only tomorrow I'm gonna work, right? But
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
gonna be excited for Drake, so I'm not
Heck
gonna
yeah.
really be paying attention to much.
Is
It's only
there
really
any
two work days.
who's the openers for you for Drake? Or is there no
It's just
openers?
basically him and Travis Scott.
Oh shit.
Not Travis
Okay, I
Scott,
didn't know
21
that.
Savage. I'm sorry, I have no idea why I said Travis Scott. I just like
Either
that song
way,
with him and Travis
still
Scott.
very good. Did not
Him and
expect it
21
to go big
Savage.
that way.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice, dude.
So yeah, should be good. Should be good. So looking forward to that. Other than that, just looking forward to the AFC preview and football in general. But
Heck yeah.
yeah, but other than that, it's just sitting here, our view from the bench. I'm Brendan.
And I'm Corey. And like we always say, enjoy the sports until we talk again.
Peace.